All right, Gladiator 2. It finally happened.
24 years.
It's a long time to wait for a movie.
It is. It is.
But we're here,
Yeah.
and you all sent us a ton of stuff.
Yes.
Articles, reviews, behind-the-scenes stuff. So we're going to deep dive into Gladiator 2.
Excellent.
And by the end of this, you'll know the story. You'll know the characters.
You will.
And, we'll even throw in a little film critic analysis while we're at it.
I mean, why not?
Exactly.
It's interesting because they didn't just try to recreate the magic of the original. They kind of took it in a whole other direction.
Right.
Focusing on Lucius, who we all remember
Yes.
as that little boy.
The little boy.
In the first film.
Yes.
He's all grown up now.
He is all grown up.
And caught up in this world.
Yeah.
That's just as complex, just as brutal
Yeah.
as the one Maximus knew.
Yeah, it's like they took all the good parts of Gladiator, like the political intrigue and the combat and the spectacle,
Yeah.
and they built this whole new story around it. So the movie starts off 16 years after Gladiator,
Okay.
and Lucius, who is now going by Hanno,
Right.
is living a seemingly quiet life in Numidia.
Seemingly quiet?
Of course, if you know Ridley Scott, things are not going to stay quiet for very long.
Never.
And that's where I think that brilliance of that opening scene really comes in.
Yes.
We see Lucius happy, thriving, and then boom,
Yeah.
tragedy hits.
It does.
And I mean, it's such a gut punch,
Mm-hmm.
and it really echoes Maximus's loss, in the first film.
Yeah.
And it immediately sets the stage for Lucius's journey.
Right away.
It's that, classic hero story stripped of everything,
Yeah.
driven by grief and vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where it gets interesting. Lucius doesn't shy away from, the brutality of the gladiator world
No.
at all. In fact, there's a scene, and this is not for the faint of heart, but he actually bites a baboon during a fight.
He does. You got to give it to Ridley Scott for, going
Their
there.
commitment to this spectacle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's shocking, for
Yeah.
sure. But, you think about it from a cinematic perspective,
Mm-hmm.
it's that is how you introduce this character.
Yes.
He's not Maximus.
He's not.
He's not this noble
Okay.
gladiator fighting for a just cause.
Mm-hmm.
There's a darkness, there's a ferocity to
Yes.
Lucius
Absolutely.
that sets him apart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all this blood and grit
Yeah.
catches the eye of a pretty powerful figure,
Oh.
Macrinus,
Okay.
played by the one and only
Come on.
Denzel Washington,
Yes.
casting gold
Yes.
right there.
He is fantastic as Macrinus.
Oh, he's so good.
He brings this gravitas.
Yes.
This quiet intensity that just oozes power and ambition,
Mhm.
and Macrinus is the puppet master, right?
Yeah.
He's always working behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
and Denzel just embodies that
Yeah.
perfectly.
And Lucius, whether he wants to or not, is now a pawn in Macrinus's game.
He is.
But we also have another major player here
Ooh.
in this political, chess match
Okay.
that's going on.
I'm listening.
Acacius, played by Pedro Pascal.
Of course.
Fantastic.
Always fantastic.
He's a general, and he's torn, right?
Okay.
He's torn between his loyalty to the emperors and, his admiration
Yeah.
for the ideals of Marcus Aurelius.
I like it.
And get this, Maximus.
Oh, wow.
So-
Hey, Acacius is he's conflict embodied, right?
Yes.
His duty versus conscience.
Mhm.
He sees the corruption.
Yeah.
But he's also bound by oath, right?
Right.
To serve.
Yeah.
It's such a dilemma, and it adds so much depth
Yeah.
to the story.
It's like he's looking back at that legacy of Maximus and that idea of a better Rome.
Yeah.
And he's like, can we even get that back?
Yeah, is it possible?
In this world of backstabbing and power grabs. And speaking of power grabs, things get even more complicated
Oh, no.
when Acacius joins forces with none other than
But tell me.
Lucilla,
Oh, wow.
Lucius's own mother.
Okay.
So-
That's fascinating.
It is.
This alliance between Acacius and Lucilla.
Yeah.
They're driven by this shared vision
Yes.
of restoring Rome to its former glory.
Yeah.
Hearkening back to Marcus Aurelius,
Yeah.
they represent this yearning
Yeah.
for a just and stable society,
Mm-hmm.
which, you contrast that
Yeah.
with the decadence and the
So
corruption.
the current emperors.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like this generational echo, right? Lucilla, who fought alongside Maximus,
Right.
now sees that same spark, that potential
Yeah.
for change
Yeah.
in her own son. And that leads them to a pretty daring plan.
Okay.
A coup
A coup.
to overthrow the emperors
Wow.
and seize control of Rome.
Bold move,
Yeah.
but coups,
Yeah.
they rarely go as planned.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's
Understatement of the century.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. This is where things get really, like, intense.
Yes.
You've got this secret alliance going on,
Yeah.
they're meeting in these dimly lit rooms. There's just this sense of like impending chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And Ridley Scott knows how to build that.
No, he does.
That suspense, yeah.
He does.
And he uses the Colosseum like really effectively here.
Yeah.
It's not just like a backdrop for,
Right.
for gladiator fights.
Right.
It's a symbol
It is.
of the Roman Empire.
Power,
Ye-
grandeur, but also that brutality.
Yeah, it's like its own character, almost
Right.
looming over everything.
Yes.
This reminder
Mm-hmm.
of the violence that's at the heart of Roman society.
Yes.
And it's within those walls
Right.
that the coup unfolds, leading to I think one of the most gut-wrenching scenes of the film,
Yeah.
which is the duel between Lucius and Acacius.
Oh, man, this is such a great scene.
This is.
It's not just about, swords clashing or
It's about ideas, right?
it's about these two characters. Their destinies are intertwined.
Yes.
Their ideologies are clashing. And it's done in such a dramatic and cinematic way.
It's like everything has been building to this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Lucius, fueled by, the pain of his past,
Yeah.
blames Acacius
Yeah.
for his wife's death.
Yeah.
But Acacius, in this moment of defiance, lays down his weapon,
Wow.
chooses honor
Yes.
over self-preservation.
So powerful when he drops that sword.
It's
He rejects the violence that Rome has come to represent. Right.
Yes.
And it's a turning point for Lucius.
It is.
He sees this flicker of something he didn't expect.
Yes.
Integrity, sacrifice.
And then tragedy strikes.
Oh, no.
The emperors order Acacius killed. Oh, wow.
It's just like that.
Brutal.
Senseless.
It's a crushing blow, I think,
Yeah.
for both Lucius and for the audience.
Yeah.
We're all kind of
We see that hope.
that glimmer of hope extinguished by the just callous indifference of the ruling class.
And it just pushes Lucius further down
This
of disillusionment and vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
But there, amidst all the chaos and the heartbreak,
Yeah.
there's Macrinus,
Always watching.
always watching.
Always calculating.
He sees the emperors tearing each other apart,
Yes.
and he senses an opportunity.
He sees weakness.
Weakness.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like a chess master.
He is
Yeah.
always thinking 5 steps ahead.
Always 5 steps ahead.
Yeah.
He's using their rivalry to his advantage, right?
Yeah.
Manipulating them into weakening themselves.
Yeah, it's almost Shakespearean,
It is.
the way he orchestrates their downfall.
It is. And speaking of Shakespearean, we can't forget Caracalla
Oh, yeah.
and his pet monkey.
The monkey.
Yeah,
Now, this might seem like a bizarre detail,
it does.
but when you think about it symbolically, it really represents Caracalla's descent into madness.
Yes.
His detachment from reality.
Mhm.
He's got all this luxury, all this power, but he's so isolated.
Yeah.
His only companion is this creature that's reflecting his own
Yeah.
erratic behavior.
And while he's busy,
Yeah.
playing with his monkey,
Yeah.
Macrinus is putting his plan into action.
Okay.
A plan that involves using Lucilla
Oh.
as bait.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is where Macrinus's, ruthlessness
Yeah.
really comes through.
Yes.
I mean, he stages this elaborate public execution
Yeah.
for Lucilla, knowing that Lucius is going to have to fight.
Can you imagine?
Oh, the turmoil, the
Yeah.
emotional turmoil.
Lucius has already lost so much.
I know.
He's lost his wife, he's lost Acacius, his mentor, yeah. And now he has to watch his mother die. Right. Or fight a battle he knows he can't win.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose.
It is a lose-lose.
Designed to break him.
Designed to break his spirit.
And for a while,
Yeah.
it seems like Macrinus has won.
Right.
The Colosseum is just this scene of utter chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Gladiators are battling, the crowd is roaring,
Mm-hmm.
Lucilla is there on the, verge of execution.
Right.
And
And then Ridley Scott.
throws a curveball.
Yes.
A full-blown rebellion erupts
Wow.
within the Colosseum.
The whole city is just.
It's like the city's boiling over, with frustration and anger.
All that pent up,
Panic,
yes, the frustration, that anger at the injustice,
Yeah.
it all explodes.
It explodes in this.
In this uprising.
Yes. And amidst all of that,
Macrinus.
Macrinus seizes his moment,
He does.
kills Caracalla,
Wow.
eliminates his rival,
Yeah.
and positions himself as the savior of Rome.
Wow. But he doesn't anticipate
He does not.
the resilience of Lucius,
The resilience of Lucius.
that force of will
A force of will.
to fight back,
Sure.
not just for himself,
Yeah.
but for everyone he's lost.
And that takes us to the final act,
Yeah.
which spills out of the Colosseum
Wow.
into the streets of Rome.
This isn't just an action sequence, right?
Okay.
It's a fight for the soul of Rome.
It is,
You know,
yeah.
is it going to succumb to this tyranny of
Yeah.
Macrinus,
Yeah.
or embrace those ideals that Acacius and Lucilla fought for?
And the way that Ridley Scott, films this battle,
Oh, it's beautiful.
it's breathtaking.
Yeah.
He just captures the chaos, the desperation,
Mm-hmm.
and just the sheer scale of it all.
The scoop of it. Yeah.
With these, sweeping shots that just pull you right in.
You're right there in it.
Yeah, you've got the Roman army clashing with Acacius's loyalists, people caught in the crossfire, and then it all comes down to this epic one-on-one duel
The final showdown.
between Lucius and Macrinus.
And this duel, this is so much more
Yes.
than just two guys fighting, right?
Yeah.
It's the old world versus the new.
It is.
Macrinus, this ruthless pursuit of power
Yeah.
versus the potential for change.
And Lucius doesn't defeat Macrinus with some
Right.
fancy sword or some move he learned in the arena.
Yep.
He wins with a rock.
A rock.
Just this primal weapon.
Wow.
It's almost like Ridley Scott is saying that true strength doesn't come from
Yeah.
brute force or political maneuvering.
That's something deeper.
It's something deeper.
It's primal.
Yes. And it's underscored by Lucius's speech after the battle.
Yeah.
He stands there amidst, the carnage and the fallen, and he talks about rebuilding Rome, about honoring the legacies of Marcus Aurelius and even Maximus.
Wow.
And it elevates the film beyond just a revenge story.
It does, yeah.
It shows that Lucius, he's not just driven by vengeance. He's got this
A vision.
vision for a better future. But then the movie takes this really interesting turn. It doesn't end with this clear victory,
Right.
this triumphant march into the palace.
Right.
We see Lucius in the Colosseum taking a handful of dirt and looking up at the sky.
It's quiet. It's contemplative.
It is.
Almost spiritual.
Yes, and I love that final shot.
Me too. It's brilliant.
It's ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
It leaves you wondering, what does it all mean?
What does it mean?
Is he seeking guidance from his father?
Yeah.
From Maximus?
Yeah.
Is he questioning the weight of the empire that's now on his shoulders?
Mm-hmm.
Is he just reflecting on the journey that led him to this point?
Right.
It's like Ridley Scott is inviting us
To keep going.
to keep going, to continue the story.
To think about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, there have been hints about a potential third film.
Oh, a third film.
That would be something.
So, the possibility of another Gladiator film is definitely intriguing. And, imagine exploring Lucius as a ruler. Yeah.
A man who maybe never wanted the throne,
Right.
but now has to deal with that
Responsibility.
burden of responsibility.
That's something that resonates with us today.
It does.
Ambition versus integrity.
Power and compassion.
Yeah.
So, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I think the key takeaways here are
Mm-hmm.
you've got a film that's a thrilling spectacle,
Yes.
but it also makes you think
It does.
about power, legacy, the cyclical nature of violence.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a hero who is both familiar,
Yeah.
but also different from Maximus,
Right.
forged in tragedy, but still striving for that better future.
It's hopeful.
It is hopeful.
Yeah.
And then an ending that's completely open
Mm-hmm.
to interpretation.
Leaves us with questions.
More questions than answers.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
It stays with you.
It does.
If you see it.
It makes you think about the choices we make,
The paths we choose.
the impact we have.
Ab-
And for you, dear listener, as you step back into your world, here's something to consider.
Okay.
If you could go back in time and whisper one piece of advice to Lucius, knowing everything he would go through,
Yeah.
what would it be?
What would it be?
Would you tell him to embrace his destiny?
Mm-hmm.
Would you warn him about the dangers of power?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of, like, a deep dive like this.
Yeah, what is it?
It's not just about escaping into this world of gladiators and emperors.
It's about finding those connections.
To our own lives.
To our own lives, yeah.
Our own struggles.
Our own struggles.
And coming away with a better understanding.
A better understanding.
Of ourselves and the world we live in.
That's a good point.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.